Welcome back to the channel Coins Collector everyone. Today we are diving into a fascinating piece of American coin history that is making waves in the collector market. We are talking about the 1985 P1 dime United States coin. At first glance it may look like just another 10-cent piece, something most people would overlook in their change jar or wallet. But appearances can be deceiving. Some of these coins have turned out to be incredibly valuable. One specific example has been valued as high as $119,000. That is right, a single dime worth more than a luxury car or even a small house. In this video we will explore everything you need to know about this coin. We will go into the history, the minting details, the reasons behind its rarity, and how collectors determine its worth. We will also look at the current market value and why the coin world is buzzing about it. By the end you will understand why this dime from 1985 has become one of the most talked about coins in modern American numismatics. Let us begin with the basics. The 1985 dime comes from the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it carries the P Mint mark. The Roosevelt dime design was first introduced in the late 1940s as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. For decades it has been the standard design used in circulation. Most of the time these dimes are produced by the billions. They pass through millions of hands, buying candy bars, paying tolls, and rolling through coin-operated machines. Most dimes live unremarkable lives and remain worth exactly 10 cents. But every so often a mistake at the mint or a rare condition makes a particular year or a specific batch stand out. That is exactly the case with certain 1985 P dimes. The Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of dimes that year. So naturally you might wonder how a single coin could suddenly be worth nearly $120,000. The answer lies in errors, rarity, and condition. Coin collectors treasure pieces that are unusual. If a dime was struck with an off-center design, if it was struck on the wrong type of metal planchet, or if the minting dies were misaligned, then that dime immediately becomes more than just small change. Add to that the factor of condition. If a coin survives decades in near-perfect shape, showing hardly any wear, then professional grading companies will assign it a top score. That score boosts its value exponentially. Over the years collectors have discovered that some 1985 P dimes are not like the others. In fact, one rare example in nearly flawless condition sold at auction for around $119,000. That sale shocked many in the community and brought worldwide attention to the coin. Suddenly people everywhere began checking their old change jars, their piggy banks, and even the drawers where forgotten coins gather dust. Today we are diving into a very exciting story in the world of coin collecting and numismatics. This is one that might surprise even longtime collectors, and it has to do with a small coin that most people have seen and handled almost every single day without thinking twice. We are talking about the 2001 P1 dime coin of the United States of America. Now at first glance the dime seems ordinary. It is just 10 cents. It is the coin you throw into a jar on your dresser, or maybe the change you do not think much about when it lands in your pocket. But what if I told you that some of these 2001 P dimes have sold for thousands of dollars in today's market, and in some cases the price can reach as high as $19,000? That is right. A coin worth only 10 cents face value can be worth more than a used car or even more than some luxury vacations. Now before we dive into why and how this happens, let us set the stage a little bit. In 2001 the United States Mint continued its long tradition of producing the Roosevelt dime. The design features President Franklin Delano Roosevelt on the obverse, the front of the coin, and on the reverse you see the torch with an olive branch and an oak branch which symbolize liberty, peace, and strength. The dime itself is small, only 17.91 millimeters in diameter, and it weighs 2.27 grams. It is composed mostly of copper with a layer of copper nickel clad on the outside. Millions upon millions were produced in Philadelphia, in Denver, and also some in San Francisco as proof coins. So how does one tiny coin among millions become a rarity? That is where the story gets fascinating. The 2001 P dime minted in Philadelphia is usually extremely common. Tens of millions were made. Most are only worth face value or maybe a small premium in uncirculated condition. However, what collectors have discovered over the years is that there are error coins and special condition coins from this year that can fetch unbelievable prices at auction. For example, certain dimes from this year have misstrikes, off-center strikes, double dies, and even wrong planchet errors where the coin was struck on metal intended for another denomination. These rare mistakes make a common dime suddenly extremely valuable. On top of that, finding one in pristine mint state condition graded by a professional service such as PCGS or NGC can also increase the value drastically. Some coins graded at the very top of the scale like MS68 or MS69 have brought in thousands at auction. So why $19,000? That number comes from reported sales of some of the finest examples of this coin or those with dramatic and extremely rare errors. Think about it this way. Collectors love rarity. They love something that should not exist or something that exists in extremely limited supply. If out of millions of dimes only a handful were struck with a rare mistake, those coins suddenly become like treasure.